Kilcoyne, present.
Smith present.
Cranston present. And then if everybody could join us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you go. Thank you all. And have you gentlemen read the minutes, reviewed the minutes? Need any changes, additions? Is there a comma missing, John?
No comma, grammar is perfect. I told Comma that too this afternoon. So I'd like to move that we approve the Town of Sterling Select Board minutes of February 15th, 2023 as presented.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? There being none. Cranston?
Kilcoyne, aye.
All right.
Good start.
The first thing on our agenda is to accept the layout of Primrose Lane as a public way. We actually discussed this last meeting, but it wasn't on our agenda, and we had approved it.
It was. So it might seem a little bit like deja vu. We sent it back to the planning board. They did their piece, had their hearing about it last week, right? And now they have sent it to us to put on the warrant. So this would be to approve the approved plan and ask me to throw it on the warrant.
And you already did that, Kristen. Yeah. Okay, so I entertain a motion to accept the layout of Primrose Lane as a public way.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Okay, fine, thank you.
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith aye.
Cranston, aye.
Aye.
All right, and then the funding for the, yes, comma?
Did you mean to accept it and ask for it to be placed on the warrant?
Sure, that's what we meant.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's what Bill suggested, I think.
Well, we have no choice but to put it on the warrant.
Right.
And it actually is moved forward by the planning board, isn't it? Even on the warrant? Well, we don't have to discuss that now, but whoever supports it. All right,
All of the above.
yeah, all the above. Support and approve the funding for MRPC Economic Recovery Planning Project. You want to talk to us about this, Bill?
Sure. Glenn Eaton, the executive director over at MRPC, sent this last week looking for the town's support as they go for this grant. So this would be the Future Industrial Lands for Long-Term Economic Recovery and Resiliency Planning Project through the U.S. Economic Development Administration. They're going for $134,073 to go after this grant. So this would be a letter of support from one of the towns, and they'll go after their other towns as well, and the more the better.
Any questions, gentlemen? John?
There's no cost to us on this, I don't think, so.
Not going to cost us a nickel.
I don't see any reason why we wouldn't support it.
Are you aware of this, Kristen?
I had to do it on the agenda.
Oh,
That's planning board.
yeah. Well, eventually it'll be, the planning board should be aware of it too, I would think. Did Steve get this copy also?
I have no idea.
Yeah, anything with the MRPC too, I think should go to the planning board as well, just to CC.
Sure.
Keep everybody in the loop. All right,
Yeah, I'll move we support and approve the funding for the MRPC Economic Recovery Planning Project.
Seconded.
any further discussion? All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith aye.
Cranston, aye. All right. And then disbursement of ARPA funds. Again, we discussed this last week, but again, it wasn't on the agenda. And this is for the building department vehicle, which we did approve.
Yeah, I'll move, we,
Move forward on it.
I move forward for dispersing ARPA funds for the building department vehicle in the amount of, it says 30,000, I think, is that it, Bill?
Yep, it will end up less than that, but
Looks like 28,202, we might as well say 30 just in case.
They get the registration stuff and whatnot.
Yep, okay. Amount of 30,000.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Fine, all those in favor?
Just one minute.
Smith, aye.
Okay, discuss the plans for the West Sterling Schoolhouse. I'm not sure how many people are aware of the request from the Historical Society or the Historical Commission as far as more monies from finance or from capital, another $11,000 this year, and finance, the advisory board had suggested that we don't support that because they haven't even used their funds from last year. They don't really have a plan.
I think that's the key, Maureen, is the plan.
They have no plan. So one of the suggestions as we move forward is to bring it to town meeting and to actually have a warrant article with regards to the schoolhouse up on 62.
Yeah.
In that, do we even want to do it? Do we want to keep it? Or do we sell it? And of course, that's not the finance choice or just our choice. I'd like to see it on the warrant. So you...
I would make a motion so that you folks, well, not me making a motion, but
Yeah.
I would say you should make a motion to have me throw that on the warrant. We can make it a referendum question and, see if it's something we want to continue to invest in or if we want to potentially either dispossess ourselves of it or just let it sit there.
People, I would think they would ask, what are we going to use it for? I don't know who's going to write up the warrant article.
Bill is.
You want, okay, good, I don't have to worry about that. So.
I vote for Bill.
I vote for Bill to write it up.
So the warrant article would actually say, do you want to keep it? And if people say yes, they want to keep it, then the next article would say, do you want to throw $11,000 into it for repairs? That's basically what we're aiming for.
Well, there's a little over 13,000 from previous years that hasn't been spent, so I don't think we should continue, and it hasn't been moved forward by the Finance Capital Advisory Committee.
All right. So,
And if it goes on the warrant, is there going to be a recommendation from the select board and the FinCom on that?
every article has, once it gets on the warrant, if capital and finance want to support it, then we'll have supported by. And same with the Board of Selectmen.
How about not supported by?
You can certainly do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to try and get rid of it, or you want to keep it?
Well, the question would be,
We're looking at it-
should the town keep and maintain? So a yes vote would be, we want to, a no vote would be that. So if you don't support it, then you do not want to,
Right. Yes.
I'd like to see one warrant in the town that has a negative recommendation for a change.
You might get your wish.
It happens some, Joe.
I know, but it's been a long time.
It has.
Once when I was 5.
If there's going to be something at town meeting to support this, right? If we're going to continue dumping money into probably not the right word to use, but it shouldn't be just, there's recurring costs. It's a problem with these old buildings that everybody's in love with. There's recurring costs that never go away.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be, there should be some allotment if the town votes to keep that, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is, on an annual basis, so that people understand there's costs going forward, that they never go away.
Well, like Bill said, there's $13,000 that they haven't used over the course of the last couple of years.
I'm sure if you went in that building right now, you could easily spend that $13,000 relatively quickly.
Well, what was their initial proposal, was that they would fix the front?
Well, the portico was the last 11,000, that hasn't been spent yet, and this tranche of money was for replacement of some of the windows.
Some windows, not all,
Not all,
which means that...
because they wanted to keep historical and they were expensive windows, and
Yeah,
it was only going to cover a small amount.
and there is no electricity in the building, there is no plumbing at all. So uses would be minimal until you get to the point where oh, can I have some money to put in a septic, or can I have some money to put in electric?
And once you reach a certain threshold, which would be 30%, then you're up to ADA standards, so
Yeah,
it will get expensive quick.
But I think that needs to be spelled out at some capacity so that people understand, it's just
That
not.
would probably go in the summary piece of the
Right.
article that, it needs a lot of other things. It's not just, making it look good.
all right, so I'd entertain a motion that we ask Bill to move forward with an article for the warrant with regards to the West Sterling Schoolhouse.
I'll move that.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Phil Klein, aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I. Happy, Joe?
I'm always happy, Maureen.
Sure you are.
Select board is not supporting.
Well, what we could do is use ARPA funds to fix it up and bring it up to code.
Thank you, Maureen.
That's just between Joe and I. All right, so, Bill, what you got?
All right, so little budget update for those that didn't know or see. The preliminary Wachusett Regional School District budget came in at 4.91%. That was inclusive of their district capital needs. I would imagine that number's coming down. The 5 town administrators all sent a letter hoping that, it would stay around 4, and they apparently didn't try at all for that. We still need the Monty Tech number. We have a placeholder of 4%, which is just a little bit, or just about what came in last year.
Can we just go back to the Wachusett School District meeting from the other night?
Sure.
Which, yes, 4.9, but as they said, that's their first blush at it. They're still working on it, when we will get it, hopefully by the end of the month.
I have made it clear that our warrant closes the 17th.
Yeah, so,
We're the first town to have a town meeting.
right. And then the other thing too is like the 4.9 includes the capital, where in the past, when they gave us that figure, they didn't always include the capital. They'd come at us after the fact and say, oh, by the way, we need this as far as the capital funding.
There is a separate capital request, which was the school security for cameras and
Right.
fob entry, so that's for our building that we own that they occupy.
Yeah,
But this would be for the district-owned building,
yeah.
backup generator in the floor.
Yeah, that's for the district office, that they were looking for that in the new floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they
We
said,
could talk about that.
and they say they had until April 15th, that's the target date to get the excess and deficiency amount certified, which is a
From
pretty
the-
big number.
Yeah, DOR and DESI.
Right, so if that happens.
That was April 15th.
April
Right.
5th, yeah.
Well, even if we go on town meeting floor high,
You could amend it down.
you can amend it down, you can't amend it up. So, you've already budgeted for the 4.9 anyway, so if that doesn't change before the
But
end.
not without consideration for pulling other things out of the capital budget already.
Okay, so we'll have to look at that as we move along. And as I said to you, Joe, too, they'll come in here and just talk to us not one-on-one, but as a group with a presentation, as they always do. And that'll be a time to ask some more questions, lend them a pencil and an eraser, and then move forward. So,
It's huge. I mean, it's an $8 million increase when you throw the state increase in there as well.
yeah,
And it's way above that 4.9 that they presented, because that was only half of the monies. If everybody at that meeting saw the full impact of it, they would probably have a different opinion. Because it was 6.5% when you threw the state monies into it overall. And when you looked at the gross amount of money that they were going up year over year, it's knocking on $8 million.
well, as I said at the meeting, I'd like to see them take a look at where we spend the money. We haven't gotten that breakout, like, what are we paying for the administration? What are we paying for the teachers? What are we paying for guidance? What are we paying for that? And I wasn't the only one that asked for that line by line, and I think that's important.
It is,
Because we turn around, I understand that it's about the kids, but are we giving the kids what they actually need? And I've said for years, I can remember when Tom Brady decided he was gonna take a pay cut with the Patriots.
Tom
And I said to McCall,
Yeah,
I said, why don't you be a Tom Brady and give us a break here? You know, because it's very heavy monetarily on the administrative side, just like anywhere. It's not just Wachusett District, it's any district in any college. You know, you look at those lines and you go,
Well, Riley started with an impassioned plea about overcrowding in the classroom and how that was a priority to balance all of that out. And then when you got to the details behind it, there were 3 admin positions added and 1 teacher position. So that doesn't really tie off for me with, looking for smaller classroom sizes.
well, and the idea is it's not just, which is why I would like them to focus on each town. It's like, because that's not necessarily the case in Sterling. You know, some of our classes, and he said that too, he didn't mention Sterling, but, you know, the fact that we have the teacher-student ratio, there are some schools that fit in it perfectly, and then there's other schools that don't. The thing that boggles my mind is one of those schools that have that ratio that doesn't work so much is Holden, and we just built a new school in Holden, and already we're already out of, and I get that, you know, they've blossomed as far as people go, but should we pay for it? I don't think that's necessarily a good idea.
yeah, and the other point that they made was showing the side-by-side per pupil expenditures from Sterling compared to this Dart school system, I don't know what that is, and then regional, and then state average, and we're about 11,500, 11,700, I don't have the numbers in front of me, all the way up to, I think it was 18,000, the state average, which is all schools, regional and otherwise. And so we have to make that up, and as the select board fellow from Holden, Rizzonis, pointed out, based on what we're spending, I forget what he said, 116 million divided by the number of students, we're spending 17,500, almost 18,000, pretty close to the state average, but we're spending it, okay, not the state. And it's been long discussed, and the one thing they have made an improvement to, I read, where it's up to 90% transportation reimbursement, which is good. It's really good. It's supposed to be 100%, but it's 90, and that's an improvement. We probably won't see the benefit of that till next year. So that's why we got a 15% hit on that, I think, across the board for the 5 towns this year for transport. And that's a big nut. I mean, that really is. But the per pupil is all driven by the formula down in Boston. And these people, I mean, our reps and stuff, they've been fighting this battle for I don't know how long, and they're fighting it against everybody east of 495. And there's power in numbers, and I don't know if we're ever going to see a major change in that foundation formula. So that's the way it is for now on that one. But again, as Maureen has suggested, we all talked about it up there, we could at least help a little bit, I think, with suggestions if we had a line-by-line budget, prior year current projection by department with the number of staff, both in the schools, operation and maintenance, etc. And then you can kind of say, okay, maybe we are overloaded in this area, that area. Okay, Jim, what's the deal? Can we cut some of this stuff? Do we need all the courses that have like 11 or 12 kids in them? There are a few that have that. You want to make all these courses available to everybody, but you can't do it, you know, especially when you're looking at numbers like this. So you really got to, I think they're trying to, and they're behind the 8 ball because the accounting's a mess. It's a nightmare right now, but I think they're good. I like them, and I think Michelle Grease, the business manager, has her heart and brain in the right place here, and she's getting caught up reconciling 65 cash accounts from 2 years ago, which takes forever to do. And of course, she admitted at our audit meeting that should come down to 5 or 10 cash accounts. That would save enormous time and effort. So she's trying to focus on the budget right now. Other people are focusing on getting the E&D certified by April 15th. That's another $850,000, I think, is what's involved in that. So that comes back.
That's what it was the last report.
Yeah, so they're going to shoot for the same thing, I guess is what I heard, but we'll see. We'll see. But 4.9, yeah, I think that'll come down. I mean, the towns can't afford it. They can't afford, Joe, as you said, 6.53%. That's not flying. I think they know that, but at least I'm surprised they even had a number based on a month ago what heard the situation was, so I'm sure it'll change quite a bit, but hopefully down a little bit. But
She should really, Michelle should really come in and present a year-over-year bridge chart. How are you spending 8 million extra? What are the buckets you're spending it in? So every town can look at what their intentions are for that 8 million. That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and I don't disagree with that idea. However, I think she is still, just trying to dig out from the past, which has nothing to do with this current administration, which is kind of a sad story.
She's got to have all hands on deck though, because this is
Yes.
a big increase
Yeah.
that they're serving up.
All right, sorry, Bill.
So that's the first one. I imagine it will come down, but that's where we are right now. Need the Monty Tech number. The capital committee has recommended all the projects but one. There's two potentially outstanding ones, which would be the engineering/grant match to have there in the case that we have a grant, need that match, or there's a lot of projects, particularly DOT ones, that you need you to do the engineering up front in order to get the grant. So that would be a decision they'd have to recommend on or not. And what's the other one? Oh, Fair Committee insurance. So we are meeting tomorrow morning. Obviously, the costs of those are pretty extensive, so their tiny budget can't really absorb all of it. So they will be asking the capital committee if they would support that. We put in a placeholder of 30,000, which probably wouldn't cover all of it if it was through Maya, but it would cover a bigger portion than not.
Do they have any numbers yet?
No.
All right.
Well, we have the numbers from Maya. Maybe about 50,000 for the $5 million policy. So
how much?
50 for the $5 million policy.
All right, and then we're gonna double check what's in those coffers of theirs.
Mhm.
Pull out if you have to.
Don't get any argument from me. So those are the two outstanding items for the capital committee. The finance committee obviously needs to make the recommendations on the budget when we finally get all those numbers and where we're going to be. And then, as I was saying, I sent out an email yesterday to everybody. Then we have to develop the financing plan with the advisory committee's input, put the warrant together and all those things. Planning board's pretty much got all their stuff now that we have Primrose Lane. We have at least one citizen's petition, maybe a second one that would have to get certified and have a planning board hearing, and whatever else ends up on there.
Okay, do you have any ETA dates on those that you need us to all?
So anything money related has to be in by the 10th, and the warrant closes on the 17th, totally, so. Then there's sometime before the town meeting, the planning board have to have a hearing if there is not approved, but a certified citizen's petition. Because it would be a zoning amendment.
All right, what is that?
It would be changing the principal use for commercial on,
Oh, okay, that
What
one
can be
I know
stored.
about, but what's the other one?
there may be a added variance use for residential,
Okay.
if it's written correctly.
All right.
Warrants coming up, so we have run into a little bit of trouble on the Chamber of Commerce sign. Where we were going to put it is in the DOT right-of-way, which we knew. The part that they didn't tell us is that they won't accept a sign that has the advertisement on there. So we'll have to find another location, maybe Clinton Road, because we control that, or portions of 140 that we control, where it's not going to be in the DOT right-of-way. And obviously, the Chamber of Commerce isn't going to donate a sign that isn't advertising them. So we'll make that work. Warrants coming along, and had our, again, another kickoff for the downtown Maple Street project. So we're right on track, so we should have the month of May to go over the preliminary design for the things out here. Maple Street preliminary design is pretty much done, that's just sidewalks. Problem we've run into there is some of the right-of-way issues because the road is so old and some of those buildings are so old, trying to find the actual boundary lines there. And then obviously with the downtown, the water main, the drainage, the roadway, the parking, the sidewalks, the pedestrian crossings, that's everything that Weston and Sampson is working on from 62 to 62 area. So it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, despite what some folks think. And, you know,
Bill, are
We
they
should
gonna
through
do
by-
Maple Street sidewalks first, or are they waiting for the
yeah, we're
whole
hoping we can get
project?
that out to bid in the next couple months.
So that's gonna happen,
That will be completely separate from downtown.
okay.
And that's timelined to a grant, so.
And that's what I was thinking. Do we have a end date on that grant?
I found the contract, it doesn't have the date on the end of it, so I've got to contact DOT to figure out when it expires.
Yeah,
Typically, they're pretty good about extensions.
Extension.
If it's the end of the fiscal year, to go at the end of the calendar year or something. But I am hoping we can get it done this construction season.
okay, thank you.
I think that's about it. I think everything else is about the same.
Is that a preliminary warrant you sent to me on my email?
Okay.
It was, well, it's pretty early. Did you and Fred put that together, or?
I put it together.
Good, very good. I haven't read it yet, but I mean, I will.
It's just
It's not on
slapping
this calendar.
everything in one place. It's
I
5 versions since then that I've got.
thought it was a mistake when I saw it coming in this week. I said, what, we're only in February.
Well, it's not real,
Right,
and we are in March,
that's for sure.
so, David, anything?
I don't have anything.
Nothing.
All quiet. Welcome to winter.
Yeah,
Again,
it's finally here, it's snowing right now,
is it?
yeah.
No, is that why you were late?
Well, yeah.
Just kidding.
Spreading bad rumors about me, it seems like, although my reputation precedes itself.
Anything from you, John?
No, I think the school committee thing this week was the big news regarding what's, preliminary numbers and everything, and the roads look good. I don't know how many more storms we're gonna get, but at least so far so good with the one we had the other day, I thought anyway.
Yeah, no, DPW did a great job
Yeah.
plowing, et cetera, and so on. It's just, I know there was a couple of mailboxes taken out, but people have to understand, that's gonna happen. You're throwing 100 pounds of snow up the side of the road, when I first moved to town, I lost 2 mailboxes, 2. I didn't come to the town and ask them to replace them. What I did is I went to the post office, bought a box, and I pay for it every year since. So that's since 1972. That's right, I'm old.
I didn't bring that up, you did.
Comma? Anything? All right. Joe, anything besides asking for money?
I think you've heard enough.
Okay. Kristen, you want to throw in anything into the bucket?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Maybe if these meetings are this quick and I don't wanna jinx anything, but if they are this quick, maybe we gotta have one in the morning or something like that.
Some of us work, John. Just because you're retired doesn't
Oh,
mean the rest of us
Sorry
are.
about that.
Well, he's getting a part-time job.
I'm looking for work, just so you know.
John's idea of morning is like 9:30.
You're looking for work?
I'm good at
I
socializing.
can give you a list of places looking for help. Busy socializing. Okay, one thing, I did have a question. Any scholarship applications yet, or?
I had,
Nary one, okay, just so people know, we have some scholarships out there for you. Not only the town scholarship, but the North Central Chamber. You can go to their website and they have scholarship availability too. For any of the high school or even college kids can apply for a scholarship moving forward.
Front and center on the website, too.
Yeah, it is. What, you wanted the headline?
Next week.
All right, and then if there's nothing else, Bill? No? Gentleman up in the corner? Really? You don't want to just complain about something, or are we okay?
don't get us started.
Public session. All right, then with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Parents and I, thank you all for coming. It's been a joy and a pleasure.